Hello and welcome to How to Be an Icon. I am Jared Jones and I'm joined, as always, by Donna Cameron. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so well, Jared. And if you think this sounds different, it does.
It does. We have changed studios. We're now in a more permanent studio space that is
Not our dining room.
not our dining room table. No, we are actually in a space that is a bit more kind of equipped for it, shall we say.
We have a real podcast studio now. We have a table.
Yeah,
we have plants.
We have a desk. We have a monitor. It's all it's an actual
That's the desk.
You can hear it. It's way more bangy than our other table was. But
not that we're stressed about it.
No. But obviously that does mean that it may sound a little bit different. We don't quite know how it's going to sound. Maybe it'll sound better. Maybe it'll sound worse. If you do think it sounds different in a bad way, don't let us know because there's nothing we can do about it now. We're locked in. We're here now.
It's too late, and no one likes people on podcasts going, the audio quality.
The audio quality is going to be fine. It's just the thing of does it sound like we're in a much smaller space, or does it sound kind of fine? I don't know.
I have been working on a super secret private project.
Yes.
And I have really enjoyed recording in this room because of the size of it. It really gets up there.
You really can get in there. Really get in those ears. Ooh, yes.
Brought to you by...
If you haven't already, please, by the way, we'd love it if you were to review us on your podcast platform of choice, whether that be Spotify, whether that be Apple Podcasts, or wherever it is that you get your audio content. And also, if you could share this podcast around, put it on your Instagram story. We are on @HowToBeAnIconPod on Instagram.
Tell your friends, tell your family,
Yeah.
tell your enemies, tell people in the street. Sing out to the world, How to Be an Icon podcast. And if you just say it enough, people will start to remember it.
They will. They'll be like, "What is that?" And then they'll go into their podcast platform of choice, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts
Or Podbean.
Shout
Shout out to Podbean. We've had a hot sack of being
on Podbean. Yeah. No, but yes, if you could please share this around, we would really, really appreciate it. Today we have been a little bit occupied with our studio move over the past couple of days, so podcast has taken a bit of a back seat, shall we say, of our regularly scheduled episode, which is coming out next week, and I can tell you now,
it's a big one.
It's a very big one. I've been working on it for a good few weeks now.
It's kind of a fun follow-up to one of our earlier episodes. It can sit in a playlist that we will inevitably make.
As can this episode that we're doing now.
As can this. And in our, because we've stepped into a new space.
Yes.
We've been thinking about, the future.
Yes.
And there's also a lot of science coming up in our future.
There is?
There is from, a thing I'm doing.
Oh, okay, of course. Then yes, I can't wait.
We're talking about some real science today, Jared. We are talking about Dr. Bunsen Honeydew, the resident scientist of the Muppet Show. Tell me, so are you a science guy? Do you...
I enjoy...
Are you a science guy or are you a history guy? Because men only have two genders.
It's do.
Science or history.
Well, I'm neither. I would say, I sit comfortably in between. I don't want to get involved in that war or that debate, whether a history or science man. But when I think of important, influential scientists, Dr. Bunsen Honeydew is probably pretty high up there, I'd say.
His full title is Dr. Honeydew is PhD Esquire Income CSICOE. Chief scientist in charge of everything.
Ah, that's an important role.
Esquire would also imply he's a lawyer.
I mean, sure.
Because Esquire means you have a law degree.
He's one of the smartest men of television, I think.
We unfortunately were not able to determine his favorite beverage.
Okay. I'm sure it's something blue and science related, though.
Very, very secretive. There is unlike a lot of the people we've talked about, there is it's very difficult to find out information about Bunsen Honeydew, just based on the work that he does. And I guess scientists don't really make tabloids.
I suppose not, but we're not inferring that this is some sort of Project Paperclip type situation. That's why we don't know.
I wasn't not inferring.
Oh,
that.
okay. Well,
we'll get to it.
All right.
Bunsen's birthday is on the 20th of some month. We don't know which month. We just know it is from the 20th.
Okay.
There is an episode of the documentary Muppet Babies where Kermit is ready to celebrate Bunsen's birthday, and he has the 20th circle, but the month is not labeled.
Right, okay.
So people have gone back and not been able to really piece it together, but...
From Muppet Babies, yeah. Okay.
The first we really learn about him is during the first season of The Muppet Show, where he was working independently.
Yes, he was solo in the first season of The Muppet Show. He did not have his assistant that we all know.
Well, this is where he comes in. His long-term associate and partner in science, Beaker.
Beaker, yes.
Full name, Beaker.
It's crazy that he got into science, you know, with a name like Beaker.
I guess it's the thing of that you always get into things that your name has.
Well, I suppose so.
You love jars as Jared.
Yeah, that's correct. Jard. And you love kebabs. They're your favorite food.
I don't not love kebab.
Is that?
And if you approach me with a doner kebab joke, I'm going to chin you.
Is that right?
This is Donna's new creed.
Would you rather that or a David Cameron joke?
That one, because I can at least pretend that I'm his illegitimate daughter like I used to in university. I used to love being in bars and telling people that I was David Cameron's illegitimate daughter.
Does the timeline on that work out? Or?
No.
I was gonna say.
No idea. Like, who cares? Got me enough drinks.
I was going to say, like, I don't.
It was around the pig scandal.
Oh, okay.
And I had an ID that said Cameron on it, and that's
and that's a real in.
Yeah.
You know, back in 2013, that's a huge in for you.
Beaker is his brave assistant. So before this, Beaker had actually been a stagehand at the Muppet Theatre.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good.
He can be seen kind of in the background, kind of assisting with things, but he kind of came to prominence by helping out with or being part of the experiments.
Yes. Well, Muppet Labs, you know, they're testing the future technologies today, as we know. So many
advances in science and tech, because they were also working in collaboration with Dave Gomez, Richard Hunt, and later Steve Whitmire, who is, you might know him from his work with Kermit, the producer of the Muppet Theatre.
Yeah, no, they're close associates of the Muppets, you know.
All working very, very closely together to advance science.
And science is important, you know. I've said it for a while now. We've not had a big advance in science in quite some time. Like,
Jared, in your opinion, what do you think the biggest advancements in science have been recently?
Recently? I mean, we're really struggling, you know? That's like a really like difficult one to answer, because we had like... Do you remember when they did surgery on that grape? Do you remember that? That was a...
Wasn't that like 8 years ago?
Well, this is my point. You know, 5G, I'm not going to talk about that. Like, you know... It's not that kind of podcast, but people have got opinions about it. And the only thing that's gotten cheaper in my lifetime is big televisions.
TVs keep getting cheaper, and I go, how?
It's the one thing of like, people talk about the future in the past. They talk about it being like, oh my gosh, we're going to have all this wonderful technology and it's going to be so cheap and affordable and everything. I thought we'd be living in the Jetsons by now, but instead I can get a Roku TV for £90. And like, that's the biggest advancement in the future that we have.
I don't have a Little Wonders robot.
Exactly.
That's a tiny girl showing up saying pithy things.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have any of that. I don't have a robot assistant. I don't have none of that. Do you know what? I think the biggest advancement we've had in the past 20 years is probably the Roomba. You know, if I'm being honest, that is probably that's the furthest we've got. Now, I know people are probably going to...
I'm going to disagree. It's the find your phone function.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Now, people might be screaming out saying, well, what about AI? That's quite a big thing. That's a hot button issue that's going on in the world right now.
We all know AI is just a bunch of people in a warehouse just answering those questions in real time.
I mean, too many examples of it. That has actually been the case. That has actually been the case for a lot of these things, you know?
Yeah.
So... I'm going to say no on that one. I think the Roomba is the height of advancement of the past like 20 years in the way of future. Anyway, something about we're talking about Dr. Bunsen Honeydew, scientist of our time.
Well, talking about inventions and developments in tech.
Oh, okay.
We can talk about some of Bunsen's inventions, which include, but are not limited to...
There's so many.
A gorilla detector, exploding clothes, edible paper clips, a banana sharpener, a hair-growing tonic, a machine that can turn gold into cottage cheese. Now, again, in the development of this, in scenes that are very reminiscent of World War II war crimes, his assistant Beaker has been shrunk, cloned, punched, deflated, zapped, turned invisible, and blown up.
Wow.
Many times.
Many times. Well, that feels like, and I think there's definitely there's a bit of a problem with this in the Muppet Theatre. Obviously, it was in the 70s and HR didn't exist then. But I feel like there'd be a lot of grievances,
Oh my goodness, could you imagine this now? It's that, like, when you hear about old film sets and, like, Marlon Brando is doing Lord knows what, and you just go, how are we doing this? How are we just setting people on fire? And they're like,
I guess the thing is, I suppose the thing is that science wasn't too far off like what we were doing, We're not that far away from, like, sort of the Milgram experiment or, like...
It's around the same time.
Like with
the Stanford prison experiments being like, wow, what if we just gave a bunch of white guys, like, power? Who knew it would turn bad? Yeah. Well, speaking of, like, science and ethics, the manager and director of the Muppet Theatre, Kermit, has been quoted as saying, if someone has to get hurt, it's almost always Beaker.
Yeah.
Now, I want to pull out someone has to.
I mean, someone has to. I also think as well that we're sort of burying the lead a little bit here on Beaker. And I hope that you've mentioned this, that he does have, like, relatives in high places.
We will get to this. And he also has many esteemed awards.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing. We can talk about the efficacy and the morality of all of this. I am here to state, is not a gorilla detector so important to science?
I think it is.
Because, like, I know we live in a high gorilla area.
Yeah, we do. It's good to know.
I have needed to eat paper clips, and sometimes my bananas are not sharp enough.
Donna, it's a complaint I have near daily that my bananas are not sharp enough.
I think these furtherments in science are important, and they are much more important than the Geneva Convention.
I think so, yeah. I you know what? Everything's got a price, Do the ends justify the means? And I think
these do.
And I think they do. I think they really do.
What are you going to do without a hair-growing tonic? There are so many bald men out there we all have to witness.
Exactly.
Honeydew himself.
Well, I mean, and we all know the conspiracy theories that the Turkish government were really against the hair-growing tonic for reasons that have now become quite apparent. So, I'm just saying, like, you got to follow the money trail on that one. All of a sudden gets tied up in some paperwork and now we don't have hair-growing tonic.
Now there's a lot of restrictions on the chemicals that can be used.
Yeah.
And have you noticed how vapes have been banned recently?
I'm just, I'm just
asking. A
lot
lot of children vaping and they've all got full heads of hair.
Yeah. I'm just asking questions, I'm just asking questions.
Cui bono.
Yeah.
Who benefits?
Who does?
Follow the money.
Follow the money. That's what I'm going to say.
Oh, sorry. My ears are hurting from all these dog whistles.
Look, you just got to look,
Look, at the end of the day, we did decide this was more important than the Geneva Convention, and it was eventually agreed that he was allowed to do experiments so long as he only did them on Beaker.
And again, I think that's fair. He's a willing participant.
It's not human experimentation if it's just one human.
Yeah, exactly.
Their contributions to science, though, have not gone unrecognized.
Oh, of course not.
In a 2004 poll sponsored by the BBC and the British Association of the Advancement of Science, Beaker and Dr. Honeydew were voted the Britain's most favourite scientists. Now, that's not how it was written, but that's how I read it. I went, most best favourite scientist.
Yeah.
They were voted Britain's favourite scientists.
Wow. That's an honor. That's huge.
Do you know who they beat?
Go on.
Star Trek Spock. in a
We're such a serious
2-1 margin, which like obviously because Spock is fake.
we're,
like,
we're such a serious country. We have, two of the greatest, contributors to science.
It's like
and
Oppenheimer, it's Joseph Lister,
Yeah.
it's Brian Cox, it's Honeydew and Beaker.
Yeah, that's a Mount Rushmore right there. And then we're putting stupidity like Dr. Spock on there. Come on, guys.
Oh, he's got little fake ears. He's on a spaceship. No. These
Live long-
people are doing real things. Have you ever been so hungry at work and you've needed to eat a paperclip? Thank Honeydew.
I have, many times.
Thanks, Muppet Science.
Yeah.
However, we will come back to something you mentioned earlier. We've not talked about Beaker very much. Now, Beaker is very quiet about his personal life.
Uh-huh.
It's a little suspected that he may have a speech impediment, but he has denied this. It's just, as far as he's concerned, how he talks.
Yeah.
He doesn't do a lot of interviews, but he has famous relatives.
He does. Yeah, no.
And this is how we bring wrestling into the show.
You knew that we would, but we always got to bring wrestling into it. Yes, on an episode of Monday Night Raw, I think in 2010, the Muppets were guest hosts of Monday Night Raw, and Beaker was being intimidated by the wrestler Christian, and he was... We then find out that Beaker was saved by the wrestler Sheamus, who we then found out, they have very similar styles, big pointy ginger hair. If you don't know what he looks like, if you look online.
You can see the familial connection. They are, the same way you look at a photo of me and my family and you go, oh God, they are all related.
They're all related, yeah.
No one can claim I'm the Milkmans.
No, absolutely not.
It's the same with this family.
Yes.
Like those apples... They're not falling off that tree.
No. It's not a family tree. It's a family stick. That's what I'd say on that one. They look very similar. They're pasty white and got big, tall ginger hair. And yeah, no, we did find out that Beaker is related to the wrestler Sheamus, and also that Sheamus couldn't make the family reunion that year. But he said, say hi to Auntie Teresa for me. We've never seen Auntie Teresa, but,
I think maybe it's just me. Maybe you don't do that on TV. Maybe you don't have to, pass that message on publicly, but... They never, publicly talked about their relationship before, so,
Do you know what I'll also say? I think they both came to prominence on their own. I don't believe, I don't think there was any sort of...
So
I don't think Beaker's nepo babying Sheamus or anything like that.
I think it's very
versa.
parallel. I think it's just sometimes you have families where everyone's successful.
Exactly, and I think that's it.
Who do you think can split the G better?
Sheamus or Beaker?
Or Beaker.
I would imagine that probably Beaker, because he's used to drinking sort of unusual
anything.
Yeah, exactly. So. I think if he was told that he had to split the G, I think Beaker could do it one shot. I think Sheamus would struggle a little bit.
It's also really fun because Beaker actually does have interests outside of science.
Of course,
He's a singer.
He is.
I think in a way to deal with anxiety or whatever it is the issue was, but he really, really likes singing. And in July of 2008, he uploaded a video of himself singing Ode to Joy, do you remember the a cappella guys?
Yeah, I remember that.
Bum, 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 all of that,
yeah. I remember
gubbins. That. He did one of those, and it went very, very viral. And he ended up winning a Webby in 2009 for music.
Yeah, no, you said earlier about, that Beaker has a sort of speech impediment thing. I hear that the King's Speech, it was originally offered, the role was offered to him instead of Colin Firth. He was going to play the King George, but he
declined just because the schedule.
The schedule, yeah, it was too much for him.
Science and being in the Muppets is
exactly.
He's also an actor.
But I think he would have won the Oscar, like Colin Firth did. I think that Colin Firth should be thankful that, because Colin Firth, he's not winning a Webby. Let put it like that. Beaker's winning an Oscar and a Webby. Firth, not even close.
If you'd like some Donna lore,
yeah.
I went to a university audition for a very high level like acting university in London.
Okay.
And I did it to do a directing course that I was never accepted on. What a surprise.
Oh my goodness.
I was too northern and had too much muck on my face to get anything. I remember sitting in the room, and it was a couple of days after Colin Firth had won that Oscar, and I realised it was the school he had attended.
Oh my goodness.
And I just remember sitting in there going, oh, I'm not getting in here.
No.
This is just not going to happen.
Oh my God.
Me.
You could have been like top world famous director. And you still can. Like, I'm not.
I still can.
You still can, and you still will.
Oh my goodness. 18-year-old me.
I know. Well, you would have been brave and casted Beaker instead of Colin Firth, because
Exactly.
like, you're not a coward is the thing on that one. You know, I admire your creative decisions.
I actually have vision, and they didn't appreciate it, and that's why I didn't get accepted.
Exactly, like I say,
it's not because my parents couldn't afford almost 50 grand a year tuition.
Yeah, well, like I say, Firth's not winning a Webby. That's
exactly. Speaking of the Webbies, actually, there's a wonderful quote from collaborator Steve Whitmire.
Ah, yes.
These days, after we did the viral stuff, I got the impression that Beaker is a guy who goes home at night. He's pretty intelligent. He's a smart guy. He works in a lab. He probably doesn't have much of a social life. He's pretty introverted because he can't really talk. So his only means of communication is the internet. I love the idea that he spends his time in front of the computer. Isn't that very sweet? Like,
I mean, yeah, but it's also confirming our worst fears that Beaker is a Reddit mod. Like,
it's only to correct incorrect facts on science.
I don't know. He's definitely he's on some subreddits, and he's a mod on all of them, and he enforces the rules.
Well, he also has to, I think, regarding some subreddits, because he comes up in a lot of them.
I bet. I bet he does. There's definitely a lot of things that need to be corrected.
Well, there's also been a lot of discussion and rumor over the years about him and Dr. Honeydew's relationship.
I think it's purely professional. That's my opinion.
Oh, interesting. So, dating goes on in the Muppet cast.
Well, yeah.
All the time.
All the time.
Gonzo and Camilla, all of the rats, obviously Kermit and Piggy.
Yeah.
There's obviously been significantly less about this, but they do spend all of their time together.
Look, again, there's residents of Sesame Street that spend a lot of time together, and it's not our place to say, but I think it's purely professional. And I just think as well that there is already enough HR issues going on. I don't think that Bunsen is going to get this involved, because it will impact his science, I believe.
Well, in episode 418 of The Muppet Show, Bunsen puts his milking machine on Beaker's head, and he says, "You look hauntingly attractive today." And then he puts his head on his shoulder and sighs. Now, milking machine says all I need to know about that relationship. But he's also publicly been seen calling him Beaky Poo and giving him lots of little kisses. Now, my final one, we've all seen the Muppet documentary.
Look, again, all of this is to say that, first of all, whatever you get up to in your own time is absolutely perfectly fine with me. I'm not here to speculate on such things. It's
Why
up to
are you
you.
showing up at work wearing each other's clothes and being so defensive to your boss after singing "I've Got You, Babe" at karaoke?
That's just a good work time.
I think it's much like a Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson decision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they're together and they want to keep it as private as they can.
Interesting. I don't think it's not for us to say. If they don't want to disclose that information, then that is completely up to them.
But famously, if it happens outside of work, we don't owe them an explanation. And
exactly,
I'm not being funny. That's more of an explanation than you need, because the milking machine.
Your silence on that one is deafening, I guess, is what you could say on that.
This aside, Jared, in your opinion, do we need to do a little ad read?
Do I think they're icons? Find out right after this, as we say. If you haven't already, please give us a follow on your podcast platform of choice, whether that be Spotify, be Apple Podcasts, or wherever it is that you get your fine audio content. Please, if you haven't already as well, follow us on Instagram. We are at How to Be an Icon Pod. We have some very fun stuff going up on there. And you can subscribe to our Patreon. It's currently free. You'll get access to our post show, which will be coming up right after this, where we discuss all about our move from one space to the new space. And you'll get access to, starting in October, our Spooky Club, where we go through all different hauntingly spooky medias and discuss them. We're going to be doing a spooky film, a spooky book, a spooky video game, and a spooky television show. So you can follow up on that on our Patreon. It's patreon.com/how to be an icon.
Jared, are they icons?
I would say yes. I think if you're getting voted as Britain's favorite scientists, that really does put you in quite a high regard in the way of like icondom.
It also puts us in a bit of a thing for our show because, yes, they have to be, because I have a tattoo of Beaker on my...
Oh my God, we haven't even mentioned that.
We have an actual tattoo of Beaker.
I can't believe...
That's why I did this episode.
I can't believe that I completely forgot that you've got a Beaker tattoo on your leg.
I am so inspired by him, his general demeanor and outlook, that I go, no.
No, I think... Well, I mean, yeah, I think he's an icon anyway. Not because he's tattooed on your leg, not that doesn't, I think that's an absolutely worthy. It's also not the first person who we've covered on this show who has space on your legs.
No, that's true.
Hulk
Hogan, my big Hulk Hogan tattoo.
Yeah,
put my legs together and he
D.W.
flexes.
Griffiths right on there. That's a joke, by the way. That is not correct.
I do not have a D.W. or Hulk Hogan tattoo.
Just to make that very clear, that's a joke.
I do have a Beaker tattoo.
Yeah,
we will post it on the socials.
Yeah,
I do not. My question is, why is a D.W. Griffiths?
I don't know, and I don't want to know. That one I don't want to.
It's a barrage of elephants.
It's not good either way.
Oh, sorry. Why do you have a tattoo of a bottle of red wine and caviar?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
But yes, no, I absolutely think they are icons. I think my lesson would be is that, first of all, we as a society for the longest time have always just made fun of nerds. We're like, we don't like them and stuff. And now look, nerds run our media. They have...
Science is sexy.
Science is absolutely sexy. And I know that's very 2010 of us to be saying that.
It's very Big Bang Theory. But
But they were ahead of the curve, People like trailblazers like that, oftentimes they get forgotten. But they were ahead of their time. And not only that, they're still just...
Ahead of their bell curve.
Yeah, ahead of their bell curve. Like so far... They're like there's like early adopters and then there's early adopters. Yeah. Like they are so far ahead that we can't even see. And I think that is a true visionary icon standing.
I think it's also a difficult position to take socially because I think being a scientist and a celebrity is difficult.
Oh,
look at Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yeah, he's unbearable.
Exactly.
Brian Cox, we all got a bit bored of because he would show up and go, imagine if everything's limitless and you don't matter. And you have to go, thanks, Brian.
The universe is like a bowl of cornflakes. Milky and delicious. But if you leave it too long, can go soggy.
You don't matter. And none of this does. Thanks for watching. And I was just sat there like, oh, great.
Yeah, thanks for that. And the other thing is making science fun, that's difficult.
The kids don't have Bill Nye.
They don't have Bill Nye, There's no one making science fun or interesting. And like I said earlier, no one's coming up with new science. Like, science has become so dull and so boring. No one is coming up with new things.
There's literally been no new science in like 8 weeks.
Exactly. So I want some new science, and Bunsen and Beaker are providing us new science. And I, for one, am just so here for that.
I am incredibly excited for what they do in future.
Yes.
I really want to see how they help us progress.
Because
in this age of dis and misinformation, we need science and we need to trust in science and understand that it will help us.
And also this week as well, just announced that the Muppets coming back together, collaborating together again. Yes, in the next year, I believe that they're reuniting with Sabrina Carpenter, and I can't wait for that. That's very, very exciting.
Can't wait to do an episode about her in 10 years' time.
Oh my God, I can't wait as well because she's fabulous and I love her, and I'll hear no more about it. She's an icon and always will be in my heart, in my opinion. Thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, I really do recommend that you listen to our other episode on Member of the Muppets, which was Miss Piggy. We did that a couple months ago. It's a very, very fun one. So if you haven't heard that one already, go give that one a listen. And while you're there, subscribe on your podcast platform of choice. Leave us a comment, leave us a 5-star review, and subscribe to our Patreon. Like I say, you get access to all of our bonus episodes and our spooky month, which is going to be happening.
We got some fun things.
We sure do. But in the meantime, thank you very much, Donna. This has been an absolutely wonderful episode.
You're so welcome. I'm always here for science and truth and knowledge.
Knowledge home safe, everybody.